Hello, everyone. I'm Adam with Demiplane. Thank you for joining me for this week's development update and community Q&A session. We got a lot going on and a lot to talk about. We'll look at our agenda here, just where you know what you're getting into as you slide into this Twitch channel for the next, 30 minutes or so, depending on how many questions. I'm supposed to cut this off at 30 minutes to establish boundaries around my time, but I just burst through boundaries constantly. So we keep going on with it as long as I've got questions. Latest updates. So we're going to do a little bit of a tour down the in case you missed it front, because we had a ton of news last week and through the weekend, things releasing. So we're going to kind of hit all of those things again to make sure that you didn't miss any of those things. What we're working on, what's on deck to be worked on. You'll even see I made a little bit of a tweak to this agenda, this lineup screen here today, because I've kind of found over the last several months that splitting this up into what we have been doing or what we have done, and then looking into what we're about to do, those things keep merging like a whole lot. And so sometimes it doesn't make a ton of sense the way that those categories were coming out. And so when something doesn't work, we're just gonna kind of try something else that will. And so basically at the end of the day, we're still going to talk about the same kinds of things. I'm just getting rid of these artificial categories, and we're going to move on with that. But you'll still get the same kinds of updates. Just going to kind of lump the updates all into one big pot here. And so giveaway, we are going to give away a Pathfinder rulebooks bundle, which is a ton of great content. I love the Advanced Player's Guide cover. That is kind of our first book cover in this bundle. But we're giving that away. Good luck to everyone. You can ask questions starting now, and our magical demibot is out there to collect them. And so all you got to do is type the word question into Twitch chat and then follow that by the question itself, and I will get to as many as I can at the end of the stream. Let's jump in. So first of all, in case you missed it, we have the Player's Guide for Vampire the Masquerade and the Adventure Lines Drawn in Blood for Hunter available on Vampire and Hunter Nexus. This is really good content. The Player's Guide is going to be really essential when the character tools for Vampire come here in the next little bit. So great content for you to pick up. And even before those character tools are available, you can jump in and start plotting and planning the character that you want to build when the character tools are out and live. Also, if you missed it, this obviously is a little bit old from last week, but the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game core rulebook is available in the digital reader and the game compendium on Marvel RPG Nexus, and working on the character tools there as well. I'm really excited for you all to see what's happening there. But again, you can dig into the core rulebook and see. I am fairly certain, I didn't check the number, but I'm fairly certain there are over like 100 heroes in this book, and or villains, characters. I'll say characters, because sometimes they're villains and sometimes they're heroes, because that is a thing that Marvel does a whole lot of. But they are available in the core rule book. You can have all of the discussions that are really, really important, like, let me think of one. Is Thor stronger than the Hulk? This role-playing game puts out an answer there, and then it's like, hey, if Hulk is stronger on paper, would he win in a fight? And these are the kind of scenarios that you can play out in this role-playing game. All right, so also, if you missed it, this is a really big deal here. We've got the Pathfinder Nexus remaster program going on right now. If you there are full details at a link that hopefully we can get into the chat. But all of those details are going to tell you about how, if you currently own the core rule book or the game mastery guide on Pathfinder Nexus, you are able to unlock some free upgrades to the core, player core and GM core that is coming out for those respectively there, and also just more details about the approach that we are taking with legacy content versus the core remaster content that is coming out. If you missed this, we also have 20% off select books using the code remaster23, and act fast. That is going to end on August the 16th. Let's shift to Avatar real quick. An urgent request, which is the all-star actual play adventure that was kind of included and part of the Kickstarter for Avatar Legends. That is available now. It's a short adventure. It's a good one that you can play through with your group. It's a great way to kind of just jump in and get a feel for the game itself and what's going on. And then, of course, the really big news last week for Avatar Legends was that the character tools are now live and available. And we were at GenCon this last weekend. And we got to interact with a ton of fans of Avatar and Korra and players of this game. Many of you had never played the game as you came through the station where we were in the Avatar room that was kind of decorated to look like Uncle Iroh's tea shop. So the Jasmine Dragon was well represented at Gen Con, and it was a pleasure meeting so many of you. The team really had a great time getting to interact with fans out there and to kind of show off and teach a little bit more about this really great game and these tools that are there to help you play those games more conveniently. And really happy with the way that Avatar character tools have come out. It's our second game that we've been able to do after we have piloted with Pathfinder, and Pathfinder, of course, is still in beta. We've got a roadmap for beta that we're going to be pushing through and completing for Pathfinder. But we learned a ton on the Avatar tools as we're doing that, and many of those things we are going to be able to incorporate back into Pathfinder because they are platform learnings that we're able to apply there. So it's all really powerful and flexible. And some of our hypotheses when we put them out there many months ago about this platform are starting to really pay off in a great way, and it's very exciting for the future of all the games that we're going to support with these character tools. So check out those Avatar Legends character tools now. It's like it really is just something that brings a huge smile to my face to think about the state they are in, how helpful they are for the game, just how great they look. So really proud of what the team has been able to put together here. Check those out. And then if you missed this over Gen Con, there were some exciting announcements from some of our partners. And we also had a pretty exciting announcement of our own. So check that out. So Starfinder Nexus, we're really excited that this is coming. We've gotten that question so many times over the last several months, and knowing that the second edition for Starfinder was coming, that was always our entry point because it just makes the most sense for us for a variety of reasons. But what this means is you know, this is why sometimes you have to answer questions the way that I answer those questions, which is, we would love to do it, but we don't have any news on that front right now. But we've known, of course, for a long time that we're making a Starfinder Nexus. And now with the news of the second edition update for Starfinder out there in the wild, we are able to, definitively declare that we're going to have Starfinder Nexus. And the really important thing here for Starfinder Nexus is we're going to be there right from the start of the full playtest. And the reason I'm saying full there is that, there's a field guide out there right now with, I think, 5 levels of the soldier. There are going to be a few more of those field guides that come out in the next several months. But Starfinder Nexus is going to be ready. And the plan is with character tools and everything, it's going to be ready by the time that the playtest rulebook comes out, that Paizo has announced. And so, it's going to be there right from the start of the playtest. It's going to even be able to help Paizo collect playtest feedback, and all of those kind of things. So it's just a great opportunity for a digital tool set to do some really good things for the health of the game. And it's going to be there right from the start. And I'm a huge Starfinder fan. It's sometimes hard to choose favorites, but I like Starfinder more than Pathfinder. And so really, really excited about it. I'm very excited about the compatibility between the two games. I love the concept of being able to just pull a barbarian, right into space and see what happens in a group of, gun-toting, mercenaries, all those kind of things. So lots of exciting things on the Paizo front with Pathfinder and Starfinder Nexus is going to be coming next year. All right, let's jump into some other updates. I know that I have covered many of the things that have happened last week, but don't forget that Rage of Elements, which is a huge, incredible book with an awesome class, the Kineticist, available in Rage of Elements. So that is now live on Nexus. Has character builder and sheet support with it. Sky King's Tomb has been released. We also released. A few flowers more that's not on this list last week. One of the key things that we are working on, I got the question yesterday of, have I missed some update notes on the builder for Pathfinder Nexus? And you haven't. As I mentioned a few weeks ago, we're now working on some of the things that maybe aren't quite as small. So the team is still, working very diligently on getting updates in place. But several of those updates are a little bit larger, and they're not ready for public consumption until a few more steps are taken. And one of those things is containers. And so it looks like, Lord willing and the creek don't rise. Looks like this week is going to be the introduction of containers. So in that equipment section, you'll be able to jump in there, add containers. This is going to tie into the various items that are available as containers in the game. I think I saw that we're even, covering feats like, cheek pouch. And things like that are also going to be out there, and something that you can use as containers. And so you can kind of manage the bulk of these things. So bags of holding will appropriately, lessen the bulk requirement, all those things. And it looks like that's going to be coming this week, possibly even tomorrow. So keep an eye out for update notes for that. There are some other, smaller changes that are coming, but containers are the really big thing that is currently on the plate. We will continue through those character tools, open beta features, that entire list that we've been talking about, things like formulas. Performance is, of course, a big one of these, because we understand that performance is, not at all at an acceptable place right now. And that is something that we haven't looked at, because it's, part of that strategy is we really want to make sure that we're covering the ground for all the things that we're putting in here, and then we're coming back and really optimizing things, at the best that we possibly can, and we're going to really cut load times and everything else. We're going to cut them dramatically down by the time we're done with that. So all of that activity is also queued up and on deck. And then, of course, we've got Pathfinder core updates that are going to be happening. We have the content. We're starting to work through that. I've already talked about the remaster program. I've already talked about the Avatar Legends Nexus character tools. Even if you're not a fan of that game, I encourage you to go check that out, because you'll see, from a performance standpoint and everything else, that's getting closer to what our standards are going to be for these tools, and you can expect dramatic improvements on Pathfinder, through kind of checking that out as well, and help you to start really look forward to that. On the Marvel Multiverse RPG front, the core rulebook is live. Character tools are incoming. I'm saying before the end of the year, and you know that I talk about all the time that we don't really give dates. So you should believe that if I'm saying something before the end of the year, I am supremely confident that it will be here before that time, and there is a good chance that it will be, noticeably earlier than that. So you're not waiting until next year for the Marvel character tools. Vampire and Hunter, we have that player's guide and lines drawn in blood, but also on the vampire tools, we're drawing a line in the sand before the end of the year. And again, it would not surprise me if it is well before that. Talked about Starfinder, so then let's talk about Children of Arte. Tonight we have a special episode where we have one of our cast members that is missing, but one of the things that we've wanted to do for a while is we are going to have the characters. We're going to have the players playing characters in a fictional game of vaults and vagabonds. So it should be a lot of fun tonight. So tune in for that at 6 p.m. Pacific. And then we got this question several times through the weekend as people came to visit at GenCon. It was great to see everyone that I came across. Thanks so much for saying hello. But for conventions for the rest of this year, what you can probably expect to run into at least a few of our team members at would be Gamehole Con and PAX Unplugged. Those are the things that are on our radar at this point. We know that as we enter 2024, the hope is we're gonna be able to be a little bit more intentional about what's going on with our convention schedule, and we can post that a little bit earlier in the year. But that is the outlook as we come into the last months of 2023. All right. My voice is I can tell it's like kind of on the brink here, because a lot of talking at Gen Con. I thought I was okay because I spent yesterday very silent, but now that I'm coming back, I can tell it's getting there. All right, giveaway rule books bundle. I think it's time for that if it hasn't happened already. Good luck to everyone out there. Incredible content that you have a chance of winning here now. All right, let's jump into questions. I see several in here. Feel free to continue asking those, and I will get to them, to as many as I can. Bergertron 2000, any updates on map on the character sheet, and also the feat adopted ancestry, allowing us to choose the ancestry? No, I don't have any specific updates for you on that. That's not to say that someone hasn't looked at it yet. But no specific updates. And as far as the multiple attack penalty, we're not at a place yet where we are ready to move forward with any kind of alternate solution, because we have seen feedback. We have seen feedback across the spectrum on this, and even though it might feel like it to you, there is not a consensus on how people want to see the multiple attack penalty. And so we are continuing to monitor and making updates, according to making this the best that we can for the most players out there. And that's a process sometimes to figure that out. So we're not going to do anything reactive with this at this time. But as far as the adopted ancestry, I don't know the specifics on that, but I do know it's on a list, and we'll continue to work through our list to get those things there. Or Nav 3, does the Pathfinder Nexus game compendium have everything Archives of Nethys does, or are there differences than organization and navigation? I think at this point in time, I will say that the intent is it will have everything that is available, freely available as a game mechanic, as Paizo has allowed that, to be the case. So that is the intent. We are missing a couple of, or I'll say a few different rule elements. So, for instance, we don't have our deities listing up and running yet. That's something that actually, now that we've got a little bit of air to breathe, that we'll probably look at pretty soon here to get that deities listing up. There are a few other game elements like hazards that are not yet available, but all of those things will be available in the game compendium. So again, like the intent is for all of the free content to be available there. We haven't gotten to the point where we have included all of the elements, but we're somewhere like 90% of that, and then once we get that last 10% completed, it would have parity with anything else out there that is providing things for free. The 8-bit deity, when can DMs have access to their group characters on Demiplane? When you start a question off with when, most of the time I'm not answering that for you. So we'll throw that out there for everyone. Can't answer the when of that right now, but I can tell you that it is certainly on the roadmap and something that we will do. We expect that we will start being able to do some work on groups, early next year. But we've got to see how everything else is going. Mergon, have you played Baldur's Gate 3 yet? And if so, what's your main character so far? No, have not played that game. It looks incredible. I still have a couple of other games that are more important to me than Baldur's Gate 3 that I haven't finished yet. It's been very hectic and very busy with everything we have going on. So I hope that I can finish those other couple of games, and then I do plan to dive into Baldur's Gate 3 at some point. But it's probably going to be a while for me. But it looks great. It looks great. I'm glad people are having fun with it. Creative Burst. I know it's a long ways away, but with Starfinder 2e being compatible with Pathfinder 2e, let's see, will Starfinder 2 bring compatible Pathfinder 2e that we will be sorry, I'm probably reading that wrong, or it might be some typos in there. How will that affect a potential Nexus? So Starfinder Nexus will be a separate Nexus than Pathfinder Nexus. But we're going to be talking through, and most importantly, we're going to be talking through with the Paizo team exactly what the intentions are and the extent of the compatibility and just what they have in mind. But yeah, we will be looking for ways that the compatibility will be taken advantage of, with how only a digital tool set could do it. And so we will certainly be looking for all those opportunities and make those decisions as the story unfolds and we know more. Artemis Themp, how would your kineticist be in terms of elements? Yeah, I'm just going to say metal. Big fan of metal, especially since it's not included in a lot of the lists of elements when people typically think about them. Link Cable, did you get a chance to check out Daggerheart at GenCon? If so, what are your initial thoughts? That's a good question. I didn't play in any of the sessions. I am aware of how the game plays and familiar with how it goes, and I think just like any game out there, it's always a combination of game, mechanics, how the game itself works, and also what kind of audience the game has, as to whether the game's going to do well and propagate across the fan base and across the industry. And so I think that Darrington Press has a good chance for that to be a hit. And I think again, having not played it, intellectually it looks like it would be enjoyable to play, but yeah, it's definitely got a really good chance. And I think the game finds the fun, which is the really important thing. Scott R1C is a standalone app still on the roadmap for the reader. I'm not sure, again, this is, things can change over time, but I'm not certain a standalone app has ever been on our roadmap here at Demiplane. We might have said that, we would take a look and that it was potential at some point, but we're not interested in a standalone native mobile application at this point, because I've got some horror stories in the past about app development when you're also trying to make a web application, and maintaining parity between them is a really, really difficult process. But I will say that we recognize that each day that we live on this planet, mobile browsers are getting better and better. And so, at the moment, we are focused on making, the best mobile, browser experience that we possibly can. And I'm not saying that a standalone app is never going to happen. I'm saying that it is certainly not on our, short or medium term horizon at this point, because we have a lot of ground to cover in other places. Once we get to a point where we feel like we've covered that ground, it's something that we absolutely could, consider. And we're also going to always be paying attention to what people are asking for in the community. And at the moment, we get this question, but we also haven't seen that demand come at a level that with the trade-offs that I've mentioned, that it's something that we have decided to move forward with. Link Cable, what kind of character do you hope to create and play as in Starfinder 2? Yeah, that's a tough one. I really do like playing as a soldier in these games, but typically I play as a soldier that is, really troubled about their past. Like, didn't, has seen some things, didn't like what they saw, and, is basically just a teddy bear. At this point in time, I've played that in a lot of space fantasy over the years, and so probably something like that would be the first, second edition Starfinder character that I would play. Let's see, Artemis Themp, what is your favorite Starfinder ancestry and class? Yeah, again, probably soldier. And and ancestry is tough because first of all, I don't get to play much. I do the running, often of Starfinder, and so I like a lot of diversity in the ancestry, and that typically plays out when I'm running those games. But if I played, I often end up, and I don't know, I don't guess this would make it favorite necessarily, but it would make it the one that I end up playing is often human, because every time I play with home groups and friend groups, people are choosing all of the other things before I get to choose. And then, I end up being a human because everyone in the group, the rest of the group is not. And so that is typically what happens, but it would be hard for me to choose a favorite. Demiplane RPG. All right, I know you. What was your favorite moment from Gen Con? Was it the food trucks? I actually did not eat a single thing from the food truck the entire time, because they actually moved the food trucks this year, and they moved them to a place that I never really walked through. So I did everybody does a ton of walking at Gen Con, but I didn't get to them outside of, I think, one time I saw the trucks. And so that's probably a good or bad thing for me, because I used to, even if I'd already eaten other meals, I would have just stopped at a food truck just to try something. So my health probably is better off from not having the food trucks just right in my face constantly. But yeah, unfortunately on the food trucks, I had every other meal mapped out with meetings and everything else, so I didn't get to make the food trucks. But my favorite moment from Gen Con, I always like interacting with people. That's by far my favorite thing at Gen Con. But so it would probably be, one of 20 interactions that I had with our partners, or potential partners and that kind of thing. Always have great conversations at that show. And then it was really great to have our team in one place, because we are a distributed company, we are a remote company, and so it's not often that we have our team together. And so in the evenings, typically there would be a gathering of the team at one of the houses where people were staying. And the last night in particular, just pizza and talking about the show, and spending some time with the team. So that was probably my favorite part. But it's hard to choose. It's a huge show. This year was gigantic. Lots and lots of stuff going on. If you haven't been to Gen Con, I recommend it. Anchor 89, favorite non-Demiplane booth slash game that I saw at Gen Con. How many times have I watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Okay, so favorite non-Demiplane booth or game. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's I would have to rate these by, like, how cool was the booth. Um, but if I'm doing like an overall rating of how cool was it to be at the booth, because the combination of the booth itself, but also the content or merchandise they were selling, I would say that Paizo had a really great booth at Gen Con. It was very accessible, right there kind of from the front doors, walking into it. It was laid out very well. And it was just fun to be around. I love that they gave out the different pins each day of the show. I think Paizo did a really great job with their booth. I loved the Free League booth. Free League won very big at the ENnie Awards, and it was great to see, just walking in the day before Vasson won all the awards that it won, and seeing just stacks and stacks and stacks of Vasson books. And then, the day after the ENnie Awards, seeing that stack just gone. That's pretty fun to see. The industry, thriving to that degree. So that was a lot of fun. And then, Demiplane, we were in this room, but the avatar room that Magpie did, I know that's not part of the question, but it was it was really, really something else, and it became kind of a go-to place for many people at the show. And so it was pretty awesome to see that. The other thing I'll call out is I love that with the balloon sculptures that they were making in the main hallway, they ended up making a lunar landing Apollo scene with that. And living here in the Rocket City, I remember the first day, I didn't read anything about what was going on, but I walked past it and I saw some gray balloons going together, and I was like, that looks like the top of the lunar lander, is what I thought to myself. And then to see that that's what they actually made over the course of the weekend, that was a really cool moment too. And then I've watched Ninja Turtles, I think 3 or 4 times right now. I'll see it several other times before it leaves the theater. Let's see, milestone 20. Will Pathfinder and Starfinder characters be cross compatible in their nexuses? I can't imagine a scenario where that wouldn't be the case given the details we currently have, but we don't have all the details, and we'll need to know a little bit more before we can confirm that. Artemis Themp, it's like you're trying to phrase the question as a statement to get me here. I'll say, will you support both Starfinder 1E and 2E, or only 1E? Like, no, it's only 2E. Like, our current plans are only 2E is what we will be supporting with Starfinder Nexus. Revos 1, any idea when we're getting lures added? Don't have an ETA on that, but it is on the list. It's on, part of the short list for beta. The Molly J, is 5e Nexus still on track for September? Yes, September 5th is when early access will begin, and we will be sharing more about that here in the next couple of weeks. Let's see. Link cable. Are there any other Nexuses yet to be announced for this year, or must we all wait for the new year for more? I can't say definitively yet or not. There are some potential ones that could be announced this year, but we don't don't have all the pieces in place to know if it will be this year or next. There are other Nexuses that we haven't talked about that will be coming to Demiplane. Kaliki Redbeard, when will your Children of Arte SDCC be available on YouTube or Twitch? No ETA yet. I haven't seen the file come through for that. The moment that we get that from the Comic-Con team, they did say before the show that it could take up to 2 months to do that. I don't think it will take that long. They hoped it would be less than that, but the moment that we see it come through, we'll start processing it, getting captions and all the things that we do to it, and make it available on the YouTube channel. So we'll let you know as soon as we know something. Artemis Themp, I watched the Barbie movie yet. No, have not seen that one yet. I've seen Oppenheimer, and obviously my beloved Ninja Turtles. Barbie is probably this weekend. So Barbie is performing very well. Congratulations to that team. But I think I'll be seeing Barbie this weekend. Anchor 89 PDF export before 24. No answer for that at this point in time, because it implies a win. But PDF export is a big part of the short-term roadmap. PDF export is important to us, and it will be included. But no ETA on when. And then finally got to the last one here. Link cable. Which Ninja Turtle do you relate to the most? Definitely relate to Leonardo the most. But it's one of the things I love about the Ninja Turtles, that I think that unlike there are some team movies or comics or even games, team-based media out there, where it's like you always can develop like a favorite, or at least a few favorites if you have trouble choosing only one. But almost always there is someone in the group that you just really don't care for as much, that it's like, yeah, I just, if that person wasn't part of the team, I don't know if I would miss their interactions, or whatever. And I could say that for almost any superhero team I can think of. All those things. One of the things about the Ninja Turtles that I love is that all four of the turtles have things that I can relate to, pretty strongly and deeply. And I know that might sound silly, because of many people were introduced to them through a Saturday morning cartoon, but I think that the Ninja Turtles have persisted for nearly 40 years, just because the interactions are really great with each of the turtles. They all have strengths and weaknesses, and one of the things that I think is incredibly charming about the whole thing is that they, within the group, they extend grace about those weaknesses, and they celebrate those strengths. and those interactions are really great to see. And I loved what the new movie did with that. I thought it really captured all of that really well. It's a great time to be a Ninja Turtles fan. All right, that is all of the questions. Thank you so much for being here today. It's been a whirlwind of the last couple of weeks for us here. We're really looking forward to everything that's coming ahead. We are working on Marvel and working on vampire character tools. We can't wait for you to see those. And then again, I think we've got some containers that are coming for Pathfinder character tools here this week. So keep an eye out for those update notes. Join us tonight for this wild and special episode of Children of Arte with Vaults and Vagabonds as a part of that. And I will see you here next week for another dev update. Later, Gators.